Up until now, we've been living in a bit of a digital world. Our LEDs are always on or off. What about if you want them to be sort of on or a little bit off? So we can do that by thinking more of the analog world. But as it happens, the Arduino can't actually turn an LED on with a little bit or with nearly a little bit more. So we have to simulate that using something called analog write. Now, one of the important things to know about this is that this technique only works on certain pins. You can tell which pins it works on by looking for the little squiggle next to the number. And so that says that you can use analog write on those pins. And the way that it simulates having a variable voltage is by turning that pin on and off really rapidly. And the amount of time that it's on determines how bright the LED will be. Now, the sketch that we're going to use for this will go back to using just the one LED and using the delay function. But we'll keep the same circuit just so you don't have to build it up all over again. So if you look at the File, Examples, Basics, Fade sketch, we can take a look. So we can see here that we're using LED pin 9, which we'll notice has the little squiggle symbol next to it, and that's connected to our red LED. So let's go ahead and upload that to our Arduino now. So we compile the sketch, it gets uploaded, and now we have our fading LED. Now, because of the way that the human eye works, we notice it best when it's sort of in the middle of its range and not so much at the higher ends. So it stays quite bright and then fades out and then gets bright again and then fades out. If we look at the sketch, we can see how to use the analog write value. So first of all, we want to say which pin we're using. So this is pin 9. And we want to store the current brightness. And then we want to say, well, how much do we want the fading to increase or decrease by each time we go through the loop. So if you'd like a faster glowing effect or a slower glowing effect, perhaps like sleeping on certain models of laptops, then you can modify that value to get the result you want. Then in our setup, we just have to declare pin 9 to be an output. And then this is where the magic happens. So we say, for this pin, we want to set it to a certain brightness between 0 and 255. So 0 is completely off, and 255 is completely on. And so 128 will be somewhere sort of in the middle. And so each time through the loop, we go through and increase the brightness by the fade amount. And what happens is, rather than checking to see whether we're increasing the fading or decreasing the brightness each time through the loop, we actually just invert the value of the fade amount. So on the way up, we increase it by 5. On the way down, we decrease it by 5. And so that's what this check here does. It checks to see that if we're at the bottom of the range, so brightness is 0, or if we're at the top of the range, brightness is 255, then we change the fade amount so that we are decreasing or increasing as required. And then we go back to using the delay loop technique. And that is what brings us our fading LED. So it can be a really cool effect. So you can look at how you would change the circuit so that you can fade all 3 LEDs, and you can also look at how you can change the sketch to use an array and a for loop to not repeat the code. And then finally, you could also have a look to see how you could implement the same technique without using delays. But I'll leave that as an exercise for you.